No, they're still working on it, but that's, I want to get in before, so once our let me in. Yeah?
I don't know.
They already have it, but we're expanding it, making it bigger, and of course, if I can make it better.
Do you want me to expand those what's good for the have to?
That's something.
Got it. Got it.
That's okay. And I guess in the
Okay, all right. I will reframe all of this. Thank you. I think that's perfect. Because I'm very confused. And it doesn't come from
well, I was
to
thinking at least
Lori.
once a year, and
I just want to know that what we're doing to be a family as best we can.
Vocation. The kids, it's not just their families, it's teaching. So, right, it's people are in a fair.
yeah, because you know, this is.
All right, folks, we're going to get ready to get started. Hello and welcome. I would like to call to order this January 13th, 2026 regular meeting of the Washoe County School District Board of Trustees. And Clerk Woodley, can you please do roll call?
Yes, Madam President. Trustee Hull,
Present.
Vice President Mayberry,
Here.
Trustee Dr. Nicolette,
Good afternoon.
Trustee Phoenix,
Present.
President Smith,
Here.
Trustee Westlake,
Here.
Clerk Woodley present, Student Trustee Meyer Hartley,
Here.
all present accounted for, Madam.
Thank you, Clerk Woodley. We'll move on now to item 1.03, the Pledge of Allegiance. I have had the distinct pleasure of turning this into one of my own little points of privilege. And over the course of, this is the 75th meeting that I have opened or presided over. And it has been a true joy to introduce and welcome so many of our guests to do the pledge. But there is one person that I have not had do the pledge in all of these 75 meetings, and that is me. So if you will indulge me in this moment, I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
One nation, under God,
Thank you so much for that indulgence. Now we'll move on to item 1.04, our land acknowledgement. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in the hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. We acknowledge that some of our educational structures are situated in the traditional homelands of the Washoe, Washoe, Newmoo, Northern Paiute, Niwi, Western Shoshone, and Nuwu, Southern Paiute peoples. We pay respect to their elders, past and present. These lands continue to be a gathering place for Indigenous peoples, and we recognize their deep connections to these places. We extend our appreciation for the opportunity to live and learn in their territory. Thank you. That closes item 1.04 and section 1 in its entirety, and we will move on now to section 2, the annual reorganization of the Board of Trustees. We have 3 items in this section for action and then a 4th for the reseating. So we will go ahead and first open item 2.01, the board nominations and election of President of the Board of Trustees for 2026 from among the following: Christine Hull, Adam Mayberry, Diane Nicolette, James J.J. Phoenix, Elizabeth Beth Smith, Colleen Westlake, and Alex Woodley. This is an item for possible action. And just for a little bit of housekeeping, how this will actually work organizationally for these next 3 items is, regardless of the outcomes of the elections, we're going to stay seated where we are. And then I will actually preside over the first 3 items. And then the 4th item is the reseating. And then the gavel change will actually happen for the start of the consent agenda item section. So just so everybody knows how that this is all going to play out. So we will go ahead and open the floor to nominations. And while we do that, I also want to express my deep appreciation for the fantastic 3 years and 75 meetings that I oversaw. This is a wondrous job to be in, and also a very difficult one. I'm incredibly honored to have followed in the steps of State Senator Dr. Angie Taylor, Katie Simon Holland, Melina Raymond, and the very long list. And this is an incredible honor to have this opportunity. And so on that note, Trustee Westlake, would you like to lead us off? And just so everybody understands, what we're doing now is we're opening the floor to nominations for the office of board president. And then once all the nominations have occurred, I'll be closing the floor for nominations, which is in keeping how we've done it in the past as well, too.
Okay.
Trustee Westlake.
Thank you, President Smith. This is not easy for me. I do not like change. I'm one of those people that I just get happy like a little pig in mud, and that's where I want to stay. But we have accomplished so much under the leadership of our current board president, and I truly want to see us to continue down that path. And I appreciate and respect all of my colleagues, and have really truly been honored to serve with them. But in thinking about where I'd like to see us continuing with this adventure, I would like to nominate Clerk Alex Woodley to be the next board president. I think he exudes leadership qualities. He is even-keeled, and he's a collaborator. And I would trust him to continue down the road for us at this time.
If I may, thank you, Madam President. Thank you so much for those kind words, Trustee Westlake. I really appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. Thank you very much. I feel honored and blessed. But at this point in time, I have to decline the nomination. I appreciate it. And with that being said, I would like to nominate Vice President Adam Mayberry for president, if he would accept it.
It's going to get really awkward if you don't. So do you accept Vice President Mayberry?
Damn it, Alex. Yeah, I think anybody that comes in this position following Beth really comes into a nominating process at a real disadvantage. President Smith, you've been the North Star of this board. You've been somebody that the board has gone to, many of us, for counsel, for guidance. You've been the engine of this body, and you generate a lot of momentum. And I don't know what size shoes you wear. I suspect they're on the smaller side, but they are big shoes to fill for anyone. I think from my perspective, look, I told you all back in July that before I announced to the public that I wasn't going to seek another term on this body in this capacity, but I also said very clearly in the email that I sent to you is that my heart and soul would remain in this role until the last hour of my term, and I mean that. And I also expressed a desire that if the board wanted me to continue to serve in a leadership capacity, I would do that. Look, there's different leadership styles bring different strengths to this board, and that's, I think, the diversity of this board. It's undoubtedly. So I'm focused on showing up, doing the work, earning the trust through action, ensuring everybody has a voice behind this dais, doing what's best for the district, ensuring our teachers, our administrators have what they need to allow our kids to be successful. So that's why I'm here, and I'll grudgingly accept the nomination. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other lights on, then the nominations will be closed. JJ, do we have any public comment?
I have no cards for this item.
Mr. Navaduran, do you have a comment for item 2.01? Sure, come on up, and then when you're done, we'll make sure to fill out your card afterwards, okay? All right, welcome, Mr. Navaduran.
Hello, guys. My name is Paul Navaduran. As a Ward 3 members, I'm proud to be served as a Ward 3 members. As a NAB, Neighborhood Advisory Board member, so I will support. I love Beth Smith as a president, so I've supported Beth Smith for president, but maybe 2026, I feel like Adam Mayberry should be a board president, and Beth Smith should be a vice president, and then Kirk, maybe Willie or Christine Hall should be trustee clerk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Navaduran. All right. And then, Mr. Navaduran, we'll have you fill out one of those cards. Do we have any other public comment for this item?
I have no more cards.
All right. Well, I will personally say that it's quite the prize, and particularly convenient when we have one nomination. But we still do need a motion from this board.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to nominate Adam as president.
I'll second, Madam.
Oh,
Can we, would it be possible?
sorry.
Okay, we have a first and a second, but if we could just restate it for the record, that would be great. Trustee
I
Phoenix.
move that the Board of Trustees selects Adam Mayberry to serve as president of the Board of Trustees for 2026.
Madam Chair, I second.
All right. We have a motion by Trustee Phoenix. We have a second by Clerk Woodley. Seeing no other discussion on the motion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries 7-0. Congratulations, President Mayberry. All right, that closes item 2.01, and we will move on now to item 2.02, the board nominations and election of Vice President of the Board of Trustees for 2026 from among the following: Christine Hull, Adam Mayberry, Diane Nicolette, James J.J. Phoenix, Elizabeth Beth Smith, Colleen Westlake, and Alex Woodley. This is also an item for possible action. And of course, we just nominated and elected President Mayberry to the seat. So he would not do both roles unless he really, really wants to. So again, I'm going to open up the floor to nominations.
Thank you, President Smith. I'm going to try this one more time. And I do have a sharp object in my hand. I still feel in my heart of hearts that Alex Woodley would be a great contributor sitting on board leadership team as vice president. So I nominate Alex Woodley for vice president.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. I will definitely accept. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. I think yes, ma'am is exactly the right answer. And I will also follow up and say that I have the greatest of respect for Clerk Woodley, and I am also very confident he will make a fantastic board president, and certainly fantastic vice president. Yes, but in both of those. No. But in all of the roles ahead. Are there any other nominations for vice president? All right, seeing none. JJ, do we have any public comment on this item?
Pablo Navaduran.
Welcome, Mr. Navaduran.
I would like to nominate Besme for vice president or as Willie for vice president. So those two.
Thank you so much, Mr. Navaduran. That's so very, very kind of you. With that said, obviously, I was not nominated, and that's okay because a good leader leads in a way that creates space for other people to come into those roles. And so always remember that we're elected to serve and to lead, and these roles are really in service to each other and also to the community. I always say this, at least every year up to this point, if you're doing this right, the pyramid doesn't look like this. It looks like this. And so that is really, really kind of you, but I do fully support Clerk Woodley to be the next vice president. But thank you. If there is no other discussion, I would be very open to taking a motion for this item.
I'll do it. I move that the Board of Trustees selects Alex Woodley to serve as the Vice President of the Board of Trustees for 2026.
I will second that.
All right. We have a motion from Trustee Hall, and we have a second by Trustee Nicolette to elect Clerk Woodley to the role of Vice President. Seeing no other lights on for discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, that motion carries. Congratulations, Vice President Woodley. Claps. We're clapping. It's all the clapping. We're clapping. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I know I'm being very nostalgic here, but I've overseen about 500 items, give or take, between about 500 or 600 public items. Now we will move on to item 2.03, the board nominations and election of clerk of the Board of Trustees for 2026 from among the following: Christine Hull, Adam Mayberry, Diane Nicolette, James J.J. Phoenix, Elizabeth Beth Smith, Colleen Westlake, and Alex Woodley. This is again an item for possible action. And just for the record, we have elected President Mayberry. We have Vice President Woodley. And so we have our remaining trustees. And I will now open the floor to nominations. Trustee Nicolette.
Thank you. I would like to nominate Trustee Christine Hall to serve as clerk for 2026.
Thank you, Dr. Nicolette. I really appreciate that. I have to just share that last April, Dr. Nicolette and I had a chance to travel together and learn about leadership, and I really appreciate that faith in me. As you take on leadership roles in our Nevada Association of School Boards and the conversations that we had about taking on leadership, admittedly, I have a big job. I do a lot of work across our state, and it's incredibly important to me. And I shared my trepidations with taking on a leadership role with Dr. Nicolette. As the trepidation is, can I give it the time that it deserves? And what I will say is yes, because we find the time to do the things that matter. And I did think about this since last April of when I would be ready to take on a leadership role. And I feel very strongly as we head into setting direction and tone for the legislature in the year of 2027, and as we prepare for now President Mayberry's departure to maybe go to the city council or whatever is his next steps, where that takes our board next. And so I appreciate your confidence in me and feel very ready to take on a board leadership position. So thank you.
All right, seeing no other lights on for nominations, nominations are now closed. JJ, who do we have for public comment?
Pablo Nava-Duran.
Welcome, Mr. Nava-Duran.
I would like to nominate Christine Hall.
Hang on.
Christine Hall for the clerk. Okay, I will support Christine Hall for the clerk because she have a great leadership, and she should be a board president in the future year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nava-Duran, and I agree with you with that as well, too. Actually, Trustee Hall is the only trustee that I knew personally prior to this service, and I can personally attest to why you will be a fantastic clerk, because we worked together on the Zoning Advisory Committee. You were my vice chair when I was chair, and then you ascended to chair when I joined this board, and it's an incredible honor to sit with you at this body as well. And so this is somewhere around 500 items that I have overseen in their entirety. Seeing no lights on, I am going to go ahead and make this motion. I move that the Board of Trustees selects Christine Hull to serve as clerk of the Board of Trustees for 2026.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by, at this point, I believe I'm Trustee Smith. We have a second by President Mayberry. I see a light on for discussion on the motion.
No, I'm just getting ready.
Okay. With no discussion on the motion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, motion carries. Congratulations, Clerk Hall. All right. The last time I hit the gavel, it's item 2.04. We'll be taking a recess for the reseating of the Board of Trustees.
Madam President, if I can just have just a moment, I think they call it a point of order. Is that what they? Thank you. We want to present to you these flowers on behalf of the board. You've, I know we need to recess and move on, but I think it, it's really important that this community understand that you've led us through and navigated this board through some very challenging times the last 3 years, and none of that has gone unnoticed. I mean, you are a staunch advocate for public education in this community, in this state. You have made a tremendous sacrifice. Earlier in your term, you even suffered some serious health issues that you've recovered. And so it's truly an honor to serve with you. You've been a mentor to many of us. I think we've all have picked up some tactics from you in your leadership style. So I think it behooves us to ensure that we recognize you appropriately as you recess. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would just like to make a comment as well. Coming on, thank you for that mentorship and coaching for certain things along the way. I really appreciate those conversations, kind of just breaking it down like this is how it is. And I appreciate that the best because you get right to the point, and it kind of keeps the new guy in check and kind of aligned on where we need to go and how it works. So I really do appreciate that, and thank you very much, Beth.
If I may, excuse me, Superintendent. I too want to express my gratitude, Beth. I really appreciate how much you've given of your time and your availability to each of us individually. And you've always been available any time of the day, any season. And I just want to express my gratitude to you. We really appreciate you. thank you for all you've done. Thank you.
I too need to say thank you so much. I came into this with some very crazy ideas and misconceptions. And Beth, you've always been a friend to me, a mentor, and a colleague. And you have guided me along the way. And I could never, ever express in words how much you mean to me and how much I appreciate you. Thank you.
I'll go next. I think that my experience taking the chair position in zoning is very similar to this moment. And what I can say is I absolutely felt not only prepared, but to build on the incredible groundwork that you laid for that. And I know that Tyler felt the same way when he took on the role of chair. And I see that with this board, that you have laid groundwork to build something incredible. I grew up in this district, and I can tell you that it's not always been this way to have a board that can call each other, anytime we have a question, to support each other, to walk through a difficult time period. And on a personal note, I truly appreciate the friendship that we've been able to build while we serve together. And I absolutely know this is not the end of you serving in students and people in general in Washoe County and the state. I just see this as an opportunity for you to take on other roles. And so I will take that point of privilege opportunity to share that our former president has been elected the vice chair of the Commission on Retention and Recruitment for the state of Nevada. So she's already rocking and rolling, and I think you will continue to lead from the front, and that's what leaders do. So thank you for being that leader.
I'd like to also just take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for your confidence in me as a superintendent in the selection of that position. I've appreciated the leadership that you have had within our school district for the times that you've been in this position, and it served our district well. And just want to say I appreciate the support. I appreciate your passion for education, and know that you'll continue to make a substantial difference in the whole of education going forward. And just wanted to say thank you, Beth.
Thank you so much. This truly means so much to me. And these 3 years and 4.5 in service has meant so much. This was incredibly kind and very surprising. So thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. And on that note, I will hit this gavel one more time with enthusiasm. I will now call a recess for item 2.04 for the reseating of the Board of Trustees. Thank you. That was so nice. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, I'm calling back the Washoe County School Board meeting. It's a little different view here, 2 seats over. So colleagues, just bear with me here as I feel like a new pilot. There'll be a little turbulence. There's some instruments that are missing. So, yeah, big shoe. So we are at 3.01, approval of the consent agenda, items 3.02 through 3.13 for possible action. Are there any trustees that would like to pull any item off the consent agenda for additional discussion? Okay. So we'll go ahead and move on to item 3.02, which is the approval of the minutes of the, I can take those. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I can have a motion for 3.02 through 3.13.
Public comment.
It's okay. Yeah. He's looking for a motion. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Trustees approves consent agenda items 3.02 through 3.13.
Is there a second?
Yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any public comment, JJ?
Travis Combs for consent agenda item 3.05.
Welcome, Mr. Combs.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Superintendent Ertz, trustees. I've had the opportunity to stand before most of you, as I am today, to express gratitude for the approval of item 3.05. Again, I'm Travis Coombs. I'm with Core Construction, and we are so grateful to be a part of the new elementary school on the Pine Middle School campus project coming down the road. Many of you know, but for those of you who don't, our company, if we had to tell you what kind of a contractor we are, we would tell you that we're a school builder across the country. Nobody builds more schools than Core Construction, and it's a market that we're deeply passionate about serving. If we can impact the lives of teachers and students by doing what we do in terms of constructing the environments that they're going to be working and learning in, it's something that is very easy for us to get behind. So we're grateful for your trust, and we're excited to get started on the project and look forward to appearing before you again down the road and also celebrating the progress of the project. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much. Thanks for being here. Any other public comments?
That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, JJ. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor from Trustee Vice President Woodley and a second from Trustee Phoenix to approve consent items 3.02 to 3.13. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously.
President Mayberry, may I just say something about one of the items? I didn't want to pull it,
Sure,
but I just
sure.
wanted to say regarding the 3.10 and 3.11, I just wanted to applaud the district and our Administrators Association for taking swift action and coming up with some really great solutions to support the members of the Administrators Association and handling this with an incredible dignity. So I really appreciate that, and I just wanted to put that out there, that I really appreciate staff and the leadership of the Administrators Association for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Hall, sorry I didn't recognize you. We're working through this. Any other comments? Okay. All right, now we're moving on. Item 4.01. This is a presentation, possible action to provide preliminary approval of draft board policy 5800, the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission, and initiation of the 13-day public review and comment period for possible action. And we have Dr. Paul Lamarca, our Chief of Student Services Officer. Good afternoon, Dr. Lamarca.
Good afternoon, and let me be the first to say congratulations, or probably not the first, everyone else congratulated you.
Thank you.
President Mayberry, Superintendent Ernst, for the record, Paul Lamarca, Chief Student Services Officer, and we are here seeking a preliminary approval of a new board policy 5800, which provides some structure for the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission.
This would open it up for the 13-day public review period. As you know, the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission was sort of born out of a tragedy at Sparks Middle School in 2013. There was an original policy that put it into place. That policy was sort of rescinded, and we became part of the emergency management policy for the district. That policy over time revised sort of Safe and Healthy Schools Commission out of it because of its purview. The Safe and Healthy Schools Commission, as you know, adheres to 9100, Board Policy 9100, which really governs all public bodies for the school district. But we were seeking some changes. Primarily, when the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission was first originated, it was a 15-member board. We have been blessed with many strong, very talented volunteers, and 15 is a large number, and at times it has been very difficult to recruit. What this policy primarily does is it just takes that number from 15 down to 11, keeps all the same categories. Same rules apply. We would continue to adhere to 9100 as well in carrying out our work. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have if I can.
Just for the record, so Paul mentioned it, but I just want to clarify, this was something that Paul and I caught a while back on the emergency management. So the emergency management operations committees are exempt from the open meeting law under 388 because they deal with private plans of schools and stuff. It's for safety of the school, right? And that's not the intent of this commission or this committee, and so it didn't fit under there, and we wanted to make it more clear, and that's and we wanted to comply with the open meeting law and things of that nature. So,
thank you for that clarification. Trustee Nicolak.
Thank you. Having served on Safe and Healthy Schools Commission for several years, and when we made this change to emergency management, I remember the discussion, and at the time it seemed to fit, and I'm very glad that you have pulled this into its own board policy. I have a couple questions, and then I'll just make right off the bat a suggestion in the area of the legal requirements and associated documents. I think, and your reference was spot on, Dr. Lamarca, that we should reference Board Policy 9100 so that it fits inside this policy, because this will be a public body. So I would add that. And then, having reviewed several administrative regulations and several board policies, I wonder about the use of in the purpose, in the first line, and welfare of schools, which I understand, but in my mind, and this is little, and I just want to share this thought, when we identify the commission composition, the second professional is child welfare. And so I wonder if there could be some confusion. I even went to synonyms, and I wonder if well-being might fit better so there isn't some confusion about the welfare in this policy. A suggestion. And then also in that same place, number 3, commission composition. In my mind, what's missing here are the boots on the ground in our schools every day. And so I wondered about including as a 7th member, a Washoe County School District employee working with students. I wondered maybe it should say educator, and then I thought no, because I think about our bus drivers and the yeoman's work that they do twice a day, and then our administrative assistants. So I thought keeping it largely open, number 7, Washoe County School District employee working with students. Other than that, again, I'm really glad to see this. I wondered if within the policy, going back to the first page, number 2B, if there almost seems, I wonder if we couldn't make this a little more positive by adding prevention. And I put that with be in the community to assist with the prevention. Start with the proactive and then the rest of that, which is very important. And then same policy, number 1D. I think health and welfare of students to include, I think the intellectual component is missing. We have the physical, the social, and emotional wellness. I think the intellectual belongs there as well. And I will just say that E and F are absolutely stellar, and I'm very glad that you mentioned family engagement. All in all, I really appreciate this work. I think this is good policy. And what I really like is that it's to the point and it's not a lot of pages. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Mayberry. So just for a point of clarification, we can go up to the purpose statement, JJ. Health, safety, and welfare, those are legal buzz terms, and that gives government its authority to do what it's doing. So as long as we're acting with health, safety, and welfare. So that's why I put that in there. Paul and I kind of crafted this from an old policy and then rearranged it together with Tiffany, Deputy Superintendent McMaster's help. So that's where that comes from. So I would prefer that it stays, but if the board really wants it out, that's fine. And then you'll need to make a motion to amend on those other ones. But that's a legal term, health, safety, and welfare. That's what police operate under, and for our guys who've done law enforcement and stuff. So
thank you for that. And to that point, as far legal kind of always rises to the top in terminology, so I'm very comfortable with that term. Why didn't I think of it?
Thank you, President Mayberry. I was going to make a similar suggestion or ask the question, did the original commission include staff at schools? And if so, was there a specific reason for taking them out, or is it possible for us to add that? Because most of what the work is doing is work in our schools, and I think having that voice is incredibly important. I know, having been on a committee, a board subcommittee, oftentimes there would be conversations of like, well, why can't we just do this? And our administrator and our teacher representatives would often say, hold on, there's things that prevent us from that. So I think it is incredibly helpful to have as you said, boots on the ground. So I'm just curious if there was a reason, or if they were removed, or how we do that. Maybe they can be non-voting members or something like that.
Thank you for the question. In the original policy that created the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission, they were not included. So it's not that they've been omitted from this one. I think it'd be a great idea, and if we're going to include them, I would think they should be voting members. I don't think they should be non-voting members.
Yeah, Vice.
Thank you, Chairman. I was going to, the statement I wanted to make was similar to what the General Counsel did, because public health, safety, and welfare is just a standard. It's an NRS. It's in all the ordinances, and it's just a standard legal language that we would always write in drafting anything related to the public health, safety, welfare of a community. But everything else, those are amazing recommendations, Trustee Nicolette, and I look forward to you stating that on record, each one, so that we can adopt it. Thank you.
Only if Dr. Lamarca will let me see his notes.
Trustee Smith, thank you.
Thank you, President Mayberry. A couple questions to start. The first is, in the drafting of the policy, did we consult with or meet with the chair, the vice chair, or any of the volunteers on the committee, past or present?
Yes, we did. Thank you for the question, Trustee Smith. I had conversations with the chair. Those conversations were several months back because it took us a while to craft this. But yes, I've had some conversations with the chair and the current chair.
Thank you.
Same person.
And if I'm reading this correctly, and I'm looking at the composition, because a student is mentioned, if I look underneath where it says there must at least be one member, but would a student qualify for the up to 2 as well? If for some reason you had 2 outstanding applicants for the student role, is that one of the roles that could possibly be 2, or is that excluded for the up to 2?
The language, I would defer to council on that. The language, I think, is permissive. They would be an at-large member if we had a second student. Students have been the most difficult representatives to get, partly because we meet during the school day, but it's great. They add to our conversation. They're voting members of our commission. So I would say that 15 members is a lot, and 11 is still a lot, and it's a lot in more than just recruitment. It's also a lot in terms of deliberation. And so what I would like to be able to do if we do add members is to still keep it within that total number of 11. So some categories would only have a single person, not 2. Other categories might have 2 people.
Yeah, I totally support that, and I very much like the ideas of my colleague, Trustee Nicolette, on that. I think that's wonderful. My last question, it really comes back to reporting back to the board, because we've had some periods of time where we haven't really heard from the Safe and Healthy Schools. They've been meeting, they've been doing work, but it hasn't necessarily come back to the board. So when I look at Section 4, what this commission is different. They reach recommendations, but unlike zoning, for example, which makes they take a vote and then that advances to the board. Same thing with school naming when it stands up, OPEB, all of that. The work of the Safe and Healthy Schools, because they meet year round, what are the thoughts on, or what's the approach for how often they need to report to the board? I will be really honest that I would personally like to see the first sentence of 4, where it says, at minimum, the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission shall meet quarterly and report to the board annually, because I would personally like to see something concrete and open for discussion, or maybe you have a solution in mind for that. But unlike zoning or school naming or some of these other committees where they meet as needed, they reach a recommendation, they come to the board, Safe and Healthy Schools has had really long periods of time where they haven't necessarily come to the board, and honestly sometimes I haven't even been sure what it is that they're doing. We've been changing that as of late, but what's the thought on the cadence of coming to the board, memorializing that here, because I would like to personally hear from them at least once a year. I know that can be agendized, but I feel like it should be a function of them to come, because we have taken the opportunity to look at their goals, to orient their work, and hear from them at least annually.
Thank you for the question. Of course, we will make any changes the board would recommend. It's your policy, and so we fully respect that. The Safe and Healthy Schools Committee, each of the last couple of years, have had a couple presentations to the Board of Trustees. In years prior to that, it's more typically been one. There was a time during COVID when there was no presentation. And to your point, those have always been requested by the Board of Trustees. So if you prefer for a change of that nature, by all means. I would say that Board Policy 9100, which that's an omission in legal requirements, I should have included that in here. That does have language that specifies that committees and commissions and boards of the board will come with recommendations when relevant, and so we adhere to 9100. So you do already have policy which requires us when it's important for us to come and sit in front of you, but again, it's your purview.
Okay, I tell you, there may be some motions here in the not too distant future, but I'll go to public comment on this item. If there's any public comments, JJ?
I have no cards for this
Okay,
item.
outstanding. We'll bring it back.
President Mayberry.
Yeah, go ahead,
Sorry,
Trustee Westlake.
I did
I was thinking, well, you don't really need to say this, but I think it's almost as important as it is for the board to kind of be kept apprised of the important work that's being done. I think the public, and this is an open meeting forum where the public would get to also be made aware of the important work that's being done. I think it's great optics, and I think it builds on trust and a relationship with our public, that they know that we have this, that there is work being done, that we take students and our teachers' safety to heart. So I think just for making an awareness out in our public, I think that is even more important than it for us to know, because, we're talking and we run into people and, things are mentioned, but the public's not hearing that. So I do like what President Smith said, because I really like it when our public understands that there is work going on and it's important work. So that's just my 2 cents. Well, building on what Trustee Smith said, the language to say, I think once a year to bring it to light, to refresh awareness out in the public that we do have this and how important it is. So, yeah, I would like something added.
Okay.
May I respond to that?
Please, yeah.
President Mayberry? Thank you. The Safe and Healthy Schools Commission, I feel prides itself on community outreach. It's actually really basically the purpose. For years and years, or for many years, I shouldn't say years and years, we had forums annually, public forums, where we would present to the community much of the work of the school district as well as the commission itself. Those were not well attended over time. We changed formats. We went to in-person digital formats. And this past year, there was a decision, because of very low attendance, to sort of shift practice. We've created a number of short videos. You've seen some of those here. We have a very robust family engagement page, a toolkit for parents. And again, it is your policy, and we will accept and do what it is that you ask us to do. Michelle Anderson, Chief over Communications, and Andy Casanari from that department, they work with us very closely. They help us with communication. And it's hard because there's never enough communication. So I hear that, but it is actually something that I think the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission does pretty well.
Good. To make some amendments to this policy. Can you hear me, by the way?
No, you're off.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I think I
thank
have
you.
them all, but if Dr. Guy has it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to check with Neil. So the motion would not be to provide preliminary approval. It would be to request amendments to the draft, right?
Well, I think you can do 2 motions. One is to amend what is before you right now, and then to proceed to preliminary approval as amended.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do the amendment, list the amendments first, and then do the, okay. Okay. So I move that Board Policy 5800 for the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission be amended to add 1 school-based member, add to section, sorry, that would be in section 3. In section 4, add, at the end of shall meet quarterly, add and report to the board annually. And then for section 2, change the language in item B to include more proactive language. I
To assist with the
To
prevention.
assist with the
comma.
prevention. Yes. Yes. To assist with, so in B, it would say to assist with the prevention, comma, intervention, diversion, and discipline of students.
What line is that, Clerk Hall?
That is 2B.
2B as in Bravo.
2B, and it says, it's the fourth line in that paragraph, at least on the view I'm looking at. And it says to assist with the, and you would add prevention, comma, intervention, diversion, and discipline of students. That was a really long motion.
There was a D.
Yes.
I think that was handled because that was the wellness situation.
No,
welfare.
intellectual.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
2D.
Yes, and in 2D, add social, emotional, and intellectual wellness.
Could I comment on that?
Yeah.
Could you change that to academic?
Sure.
Because that will be consistent with the purpose statement, which already talks about academic achievement. So it's just a minor revision. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Do you need me to repeat it, or am I okay?
There was one more, and that was to add.
Yeah, I can do that for you. We have
Okay.
authority to do that.
We're good then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get that added in.
Okay, so I'm hearing 4 changes. Is that right? Okay. Does everybody understand the changes? Go ahead.
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to second that motion on the listed amendments.
Okay. Okay, so to be clear, I see in section 3, we're adding a student. I'm summarizing here. In section 4, we're adding having the board meet, come to the board annually. I'm seeing in section 2B, it looks like you're adding the word prevention. And 2D is
Academic.
Academics. Okay.
And I'm sorry, just to clarify, it's not another student, it's a school-based member of
School.
the
Okay, thank you for the
commission.
correction. Thank
So
you.
that could be an administrator, a bus driver, it could be, that gives you flexibility, because I know it's been hard, especially when
Thank you.
they
I heard
meet,
what
so.
Trustee Smith was saying about a student, so that's where that resonated from. Thank you for that clarification. And that's a motion. And we have a second from Trustee Woodley. Okay. Any further discussion on that motion?
Yes, I
Please.
just want to say thank you for hanging in there with this, and thank you for working on the policy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for making it easy for me, trustees. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Those opposed? Motion carries
I need to do
unanimously.
the other motion, okay, and then I need to do this other motion.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this one, I move that the Board of Trustees provides preliminary approval with the amendments of Draft Board Policy 5800 for Safe and Healthy Schools Commission and initiate the 13-day public review and comment, no, not that part.
No, you're fine.
Okay, sorry.
He was asking me.
13-day public review and comment period.
I second.
Okay. Got a motion by Clerk Hall, second by Vice President Woodley. Had to think about these titles. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Doctor. All right, thanks, everybody. All right, item 4.02 is a presentation, discussion, and possible action to award bid number 2637-B-10-DA, construction of the new Echo Loader Elementary School to Plenium Builders in the amount of $58,190,959. This is an item for possible action, and with us is Adam Searcy, our Chief Operating Officer, and April Anderson, Assistant Director of Procurement and Contracts. Thank you.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll start it off for the record. Adam Searcy, Chief Operating Officer. Congratulations. To all of our board officers on your new roles, thank you as well. This project, as the item describes, is regarding the potential reconstruction of the existing Loader Elementary School. The project really has its origins back to, as we talk about nearly every week now at the board meetings, the facility modernization plan. This project was recommended as a part of the 2023 FMP for early reconstruction on the existing campus. So shortly after that approval, we engaged the architect team and began creating the design for this new elementary school. That's proceeded really throughout 2024 and into 2025, including a community meeting. Following the board direction in October 2025 to include this alongside the modernization of Booth and the closure and repurposing of Veterans and Corbett, we then have initiated the construction bidding and the rezoning process, all surrounding this community that feeds up into the Vaughn Middle School that is being reconstructed on the existing campus as well. I should also mention, as it relates to rezoning, a lot going on in this community right now. We're hosting a rezoning committee meeting day after tomorrow, Thursday night, to talk about who's going to attend this new Loader Elementary School. So anyway, as we've completed the design, all of the standard elements that are in our newest elementary schools, you'll see a lot of similarities to perhaps what we've constructed at Jaywood Raw Elementary School and elsewhere. But there are some unique changes. We're always looking to improve upon our designs, and this one actually had to be sort of modified or straightened out. If you're familiar with those schools that we've built, they've got kind of a dog leg L shape to them. This one actually, to fit on the existing campus, you'll see is more rectangular in shape. So that adjustment you'll see and feel, as well as some other adjustments and improvements to allow for that on-site construction while the existing Loader Elementary School is in service, as we've done a few times now and as we're doing at Vaughn. You'll also see on the site plans and in the upcoming video we're going to share are some enhanced outdoor amenities, including additional shade and outdoor learning spaces, additional soccer play areas, in addition to our traditional playground structures and asphalt and DG services on our fields. Also, we will describe later, there were alternates to our bid, and we'll get into the details, but as highlighted in your staff report, 4 alternates we are recommending including in this construction contract include rooftop solar arrays, similar to what we're installing on Vaughn. We were very successful in leveraging the Inflation Reduction Act program of 2023 that's still in service to actually receive refunds, essentially, or payments from the federal government for these types of eligible facilities. We're able to inform that. Some major safety upgrades that were included as an alternate that we're going to be able to include. Some perimeter screening. As you know, if you're familiar with this property, it's really nestled in a community, so moving the building a little bit closer to the neighborhood does warrant some sensitivity, and we're recommending including that scope in the award today. And then a little bit of additional scope to help with the relocation of the Head Start program that is also currently located on this campus. We're working closely with them, and we'll be including some scope in this contract to ensure that they get appropriately relocated. But that was me describing the scope. I'd like you to watch this video. I'll probably narrate over it a little bit, but this video is going to be a lot more entertaining than my words, so thank you. I believe this is the first time that we've shown this video publicly. But I want to also mention that we're working closely with our communications department, the site principals, and the entire community served by this school to really help publicize this video through as many channels as possible. now, if you really have your bearings, you'll see right now some differences. Rather than taking that dog leg, you're coming straight to the end of the building into the cafeteria. This should look similar or familiar to folks that have been in some of our newer schools. We've got the music room connected to the multi-purpose room, lunchroom. This 2-story atrium, the primary student hub, very similar to our existing schools. So there you see the kindergarten and pre-K areas. It's difficult to see quickly there. There's an overhang from the building that's going to serve as really valuable shade and outdoor learning space, specifically dedicated to our youngest learners. You can see some additional shade structures there in the distance, those play equipment, 2 separate fields, and then what you see there is what is called a mini pitch. These are basically small soccer courts that are fenced with a low fence. So that's really what it's intended to look like. But going from design to construction takes a really complicated and professional process that I want to introduce April to tell you all about how we got to this recommendation today.
Thanks, Adam. April Anderson, Assistant Director of Construction, Procurement, and Contracts for the record. I'm going to highlight our solicitation process. You know, this is a very exciting project, and we were excited to be part of it. This generated a lot of interest amongst our construction community, as you will see as I kind of give you a few statistics along the way here. We issued our bid on October 17th, and then we held a mandatory pre-bid walk at Echo Loader on November 6th, and we had nearly 40 people show up. 6 general contractors and a bunch of subcontractors. So we were already getting excited with the level of interest. We received nearly 80 questions, issued 4 addendums, and then that took us to bid due date. And of those 6 general contractors that were qualified to bid, because they had to have attended the mandatory pre-bid, we got 5 bids, which was super exciting. We call it Bid Christmas in our office when that kind of stuff happens. And then, as you can see on the bid tabulation, which is attachment A to the staff report, the pricing was extremely competitive. There's only $7.6 million separating the low bid from the high bid, which, you know, it seems like a lot of money, but it really isn't. It's very competitive when it comes to these bids. And then we heard from our general contractors that bid on this work that there was an abundance of interest from the subcontractor community, and they had an extremely busy bid day as they were trying to get their pricing in so that they could get their submissions submitted to us. Plenum Builders has also shared with us that they received approximately 90 subcontractor bids over all of their major scopes of work. And within those major scopes of work, they had, I think it was all but one, 5 to 10 individual bids to evaluate. And that's just astounding. We haven't had that level of interest in quite some time. As part of the overall award of subcontractor work, and then along with Plenum, it's going to represent about 68% of the workforce is local to Northern Nevada, which is always exciting. And then I just want to highlight, you know, Plenum Builders has been a longtime partner of the school district. Since WC1 has passed, they built Polakitas Elementary School all the way through W. Smith CTE Academy. They're currently working on the Reed High School modernization project. So we have no doubt that they'll be a great partner for this project. And then overall, we are extremely pleased with the bid process, with the bid results, and we have great anticipation that this will be a successful project. And then, as Adam mentioned, due to the level of competition, we are able to recommend award of all 4 of those alternates along with our base bid. And so we're asking you to approve this contract to Plenum Builders for a total of $58,190,959.
I really do just want to add first of all, the project is scheduled to be completed in time to open for the 27-28 school year. Super important point of reference. The staff report references a completion date of March 1st, 2028. That's because the construction of the new building is included in the scope, and the demolition of the existing building and the restoration of that portion of the property into our playground fields that will trail into the 27-28 school year. So just kind of wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Searcy and Ms. Anderson. Thank you very much. Trustee Smith.
So thank you so much for this presentation. Thank you very much, President Mayberry. I loved that video. So a few superintendent highlights ago, there was a visual tool for Palmer, which we're going to talk about next, and that wowed me. And then you said, wait, if you like that, wait till what we show you at the board meeting. And I just think that that's so incredible because it allows our community to see the future. And I think tools like what you've just shown us, amazing. I can see myself running down those halls, playing in those multi-purpose rooms. It's just so valuable, and I know that tools like that will also be helpful as we move throughout the county, and then maybe also show other segments of our community, like Incline, for example, what these spaces could look like. So I just want to say thank you. You keep elevating these visual aids, and so many people are visual learners, and while you might know that you're going to get a beautiful school, it's completely different when schools can actually see these videos. And I really hope that you send this out to all the families in the area, because I know that they're going to be really excited. So incredibly well done. I'll also give a little bit of a heads up. You'll see it in my board report, but COO Searcy did an outstanding job at the Ward 3 NAB, where we presented on this project and many others, and I want to thank you for that. A couple questions for you. So thank you so much for answering my questions with advanced trustee questions. This contract is a little bit different. So we're used to seeing CMARs, but this information says that this contract is a design bid build, DBB, right? Can you share a little bit more about that? Because that's a little bit different than many of the contracts we review and approve.
Sure. A CMAR delivery system is obviously it's more of a qualifications-based selection, where a design bid build we call hard bid, and so the design is completely finished. It's put out to bid. The contractors review, get clarification, and then they submit their lowest bid, and then per NRS we're obligated to go with the best responsive responsible bid, which in this case is the low bid for Plenium Builders.
Thank you so much for teaching me about that. Overall, I think this is absolutely wonderful, and I'm really grateful for all the investment in District D and across the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Smith. Yeah, just to echo, that video was amazing. I was looking for a bald guy in there. I didn't see him. But let me ask you, this may piggyback on Trustee Smith's comment too. What do you attribute the interest on this particular project? Was it because it was a design build, do you think?
I think that could play in part to it, but we've also heard that the market is kind of shifting, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more competitive pricing in the public procurement for construction. So I don't know if maybe that was a taste to come. I'm not quite sure exactly, but we have heard for quite some time, you know, a lot of our community knew this project was coming out, and so we had a feeling that there was going to be a lot of interest. So while it was surprising, it wasn't completely unexpected.
Thank you for that. And secondly, have you had any feedback, any concerns from that neighborhood, from the community?
You know, lots of conversation with the community through the school administration, with the staff, and in a variety of forums, whether it's the NAB, the Zoning Advisory Committee, et cetera. A lot of their attention is focused on the impending or the approved school closures and the rezoning that will ensue. You know, we're looking forward to really starting to begin this process in terms of how this will disrupt their playground during construction and things like that. There will be an impact. We have been and will continue to elevate our work in terms of making this a learning experience and an enriching opportunity for the school and the community, but there will be some inconvenience during construction. We haven't really heard too much feedback on that from the community yet, though.
Thank you. Trustee Nicolette.
I just wanted to add to the reason we may have received so much interest is I know for a fact that Washoe County School District is wonderful to work with. We're professional. We do our homework. We're kind when we need to be kind and firm when we need to be firm. And I think that's a wonderful, it's a success story.
Thank you, Trustee Nicolette. Any more comments before I go to public comment? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trustee Smith. I'm
I
sorry.
just have one other point of thanks because I asked this question in the pre-questions. Thank you in the video and in the responses to be really explicit about the shade, the play equipment in that area. Really, really means a lot to me, means a lot to all of us. And the explicitness of that allows me and us to answer questions on it. It's really an upgrade to what we've seen in other projects, although we've always tried to be really good with it. And just thank you so much for that extra time and including it in the video as well. Thank you. I know you've been hearing from us time and time again about playgrounds, age appropriate, all of that. You really, really hit the mark on this one. Thank you.
Trustee Westlake.
Thank you, President Mayberry. Almost slipped my mind. I didn't see any swings. I mean, it is beautiful. I mean, again, the video was amazing, the play area, but most of my elementary principals, their thing is the swings on the playground. Kids love swings, and I didn't see any swings. So if I could have a swing or two, that would be great.
I appreciate the note. I want to address this directly. Swings have been identified as one of the most risky pieces of equipment from a standpoint of student injury. Sadly, but true, we no longer install swings on any of our playground or school projects. We don't remove them. We have swing sets on many of our elementary school playgrounds, but when we build new or when we have reason to renovate and otherwise disturb one, we don't install new swings. They're also, I hate to get all too much of an engineer on it, but like not very play dense. We can put up a jungle gym in the size of this dais and have 30 kids enjoying themselves on it safely. We put up a swing set here and there might be room for 4 kids. And so looking at it from that standpoint also, I don't want to beat around the bush. We don't install swings on our playgrounds anymore.
I appreciate that information, and I can see that from a risk management issue. I don't want to see any kids getting hurt. They can do that at the parks.
Yeah, it's Parks has most of their swings taken out too, at most of the parks and Sparks. Yeah, I know it's. But we'll go to Defy Sparks at Legend sometimes. I got a huge swing there. I'll take you there. Yeah. Let's go ahead and have hear from public comment if we can.
Toby Basta.
Good afternoon, everyone. Toby Basta, Plenty of Builders. Appreciate the opportunity to be here this afternoon, and very appreciative of this opportunity at Echo Loader. And if I could, I'd like to address both that and the next agenda item, Virginia Palmer, which we're involved in as well. So they're both really strong examples of, I think, why we exist, or at least why we enjoy being a general contractor. We all have to work, that's just a way of life. But projects like this are really what we strive for as an organization, to build the best projects in the region. And construction's hard and challenging, as all of us know. We get a lot out of the effect that it has, and so we also strive as an organization to build projects, be a part of projects that have a real positive effect on the community and just make us better as a region. So again, just very appreciative. And we can't win everything. I'm reminded of that by seeing my competitor up here about a half an hour ago. But we really we want to, and when we do, it's really cause for celebration. So Thank you. And these projects do have some pretty unique challenges, or at least not unique, but special challenges. They're both live campus construction projects, building right next to, an active campus and the learning and everything that's going on. And they're also neighborhood projects. So to be successful, our teams, they need to be great communicators. They need to be, almost on an hourly basis communicating with the facilities team, the design and the construction team, with Washoe County School District, with the principal. And then they also need to be, ready to be an agent of outreach. And so all of our teams that are going to be on these projects, or the people that are going to be on these projects, are ready for that and versed in that. So. Also, I feel like we have a great recipe for success. Recent projects that April mentioned, also Reed High School, Incline High School, just given us a great chance to build good working relationships with the facilities team, with design and construction, with their vendors. And I think together, everybody really wants the same thing, and we want to build buildings correctly. We want to build them on time. We want to build them for the best price possible, and we want to minimize the impact to the neighborhood and, of course, the impact to the live campus. So I just wanted to say, once again, we really appreciate the opportunity. We understand and appreciate the faith that you have in us for these projects, and we're excited to be on the team again. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Basta. We appreciate all that you do for our school district and community, and thank you for coming. I'd like to entertain a motion. Trustee Smith?
Thank you, President Mayberry. That has a very nice ring to it. I would be honored to make this motion, and also thanks very much to Plenty and Builders. You've done an outstanding job in many of our projects, including the recent expansion on Incline High School. And so with that, I move that the Board of Trustees awards bid number 26-37-B-10-DA construction of new Echo Loader Elementary School to Plenty and Builders in the amount of $58,190,959.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor from Trustee Smith, a second from Trustee Nicolette. Any further discussion? If not, I'll please.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Outstanding. Looking forward to the new school. That's very exciting. Okay, we'll move to item 4.03. This is a presentation and discussion and possible action to approve the 2025-2026 B Major Projects Program for construction phase funding for Virginia Palmer Elementary School and design phase funding for Libby Booth Elementary School for a total amount of $21,900,000 as recommended by the Capital Funding Protection Committee. This item is for possible action, and with us today remains Mr. Adam Searcy, our Chief Operating Officer.
Thank you, President Mayberry. Again, welcome. As the agenda title suggests, this presentation is coming to you with the unanimous recommendation of the Capital Funding Protection Committee. As that committee traditionally does, they hear a series of projects and recommendations and then authors a singular recommendation to the board. So as we proceed through this, we've got about half the slides on Palmer and half the slides on Booth, and then just a single recommendation at the end. I'll suggest, if it's the pleasure of the board, that we might break for some Q&A on Palmer and then proceed with the rest of the slides before entertaining the final motion. But anyway.
Thank you. Yeah.
First up is Palmer. Palmer also was identified in our 2023 facility modernization plan for a modernization scope, and it was the first of this design style of elementary schools chronologically identified for modernization. So we initiated the selection of the architect and actually intended to deliver this one through the CMAR process in no small part because of the risk and unknowns of, I wanted to offer, as it, simplistically, one of many reasons why we might choose to deliver a project through a construction manager at risk process versus a hard bid process has to do with the project's
complexity, risk, or unknowns. In this instance, a live campus, a design that we've never created before. We want some construction input during the design phase. So that work began in early to mid 2024. As noted on the slide, we've engaged with the community through a series of channels, including a community event or meeting up at Palmer, and have recently completed the design. I should add, just for basis of understanding, the modernization, like at Reed, like at Matthews, seeks to retain the existing building by and large, modernize the existing spaces in certain select ways, and then likely add on spaces that maybe are not present in the existing building, but are present in our newest schools to bring this facility up to a level of parity. And that's what the design aspires to do. So I mentioned the existing footprint this is a site plan. You can see outlined kind of in the lighter color, purple. That's the existing building, and then the proposed addition highlighted there. Some highlights on the side in terms of what that addition and what these improvements entail. Primarily on this slide could be characterized as safety related. So, for example, the addition of CCTV camera system in this elementary school, a standard element in our newest elementary schools, but largely not present in some of our older elementary schools. We'll be adding that and many other features, as well as about 14,000 square feet of addition to this existing school. Looking a little more closely at the floor plan and the proposed improvements, you can see outlined in the purple there again the existing corridors and spaces highlighted by the flooring in the common hallways, upgrades to the existing library and media center, and some other common area upgrades that we hope to achieve through this project. And then in the lighter magenta, you can see bulleted and numbered specifically new classrooms. That's where we're actually going to build the STEAM lab and the student hub, similar in nature to what you just saw in the video, as well as some outdoor improvements that are highlighted, a new outdoor learning space and shade structure, and a new playground equipment, etc. So again, this is me trying to explain with words when it's much better done with a video fly-through. If we could play this one as well, I'll probably narrate through it a bit. This doesn't, I think, have the elevator music to boot, but this is the same building, right? That fence is new. We've got some safety upgrades throughout the campus, as well as a CCTV camera system. We're going to be upgrading this secure vestibule and single point of entry. One exists already today, but we're going to be cost effectively making some improvements to this very important space as you enter the school. As you can see on the corridor, the old dated carpet has been removed, the concrete has been polished, as you see in all of our new schools, more easy to maintain and things of that nature. This is still a little bit generic. There will likely be some color on the walls and whatnot, but some of those murals and graphics are representative. This is the library that's going to be completely renovated. It's not brand new. Well, we're flying outside now. We're seeing some of that is your outdoor shade structure. It's actually going to be built off of the school, so even more accessible. And when we go inside, you'll see what it's adjacent to. You'll see these picnic tables in the shade, not only adjacent to the play area. That's one of, I believe, the two. Now the swings are existing, right? Now we're just inside of the outdoor space. So this is going to be your student hub that should look similar and familiar to our new elementary schools. That's the outside space. So you can see teachers and classrooms and students using that collaborative hub space, moving fluidly in and out of the outdoor learning space, indoor space. Now we're going into the also adjacent STEAM lab. Doesn't look identical to our new schools, but not every school is identical. We're working within our new school building. You can see the restroom design quickly there, mirroring the general use layout that we have in our newest schools. And I think this is just about a wrap as we kind of circle the corridor and maybe take a peek inside one of our new classrooms that are being added to this campus. Has a restroom inside of it, as do all of our classrooms in our newest elementary schools. And I think that's it. So again, striving to marry or match up the existing school, how we can upgrade it, maximize the value that the building still absolutely has, adding onto it strategically, and trying to bring this school, again, up to a level of parity with our newest schools. This is scheduled to be completed, let's see if I can get off this slide, by 27-28 school year as well, I believe. Apology, I'm pinch hitting a little bit on this one today, but this is a request for funding for construction. So this is what we present to the Capital Funding Protection Committee that is supported by our CMAR partner, construction cost estimates on our design documents, as well as some of the special inspection and testing services necessary to safely and timely complete this project, and the new furniture, fixtures, and equipment that will be sprinkled throughout the building and the new construction areas. It's a little hard to read on the screen, but just a little more detailed breakdown of those professional services. As was discussed during the board questions, a lot of different professional services are necessary to ensure this gets completed accurately and safely and with the highest degree of quality. We've got geotechnical engineers, HVAC professionals that ensure that the building systems are running properly. We've got the architect and engineering consultants throughout the construction phase. On this one, we are intending to, this is a budget. I should have started with the fact that this is merely a budget, that all of not only the construction contract, but any professional services will be brought forward to the board for approval at or below this budgetary threshold. But we're planning to administer this project using in-house staff resources. We feel, for a variety of reasons, that we can successfully do that with the folks we have today. And then, of course, just a budgetary contingency to allow us to weather whatever variables might come forward. That's the breakdown of just this line item. All of those added together bring us to the 19 million and change that are recommended for a budgetary authorization for this project. Pending approval today, Plenium, our CMAR partner on this one, will go out to market and solicit bids for all this work. So there is a degree of sealed bid competition that is absolutely included in the price and value associated with this. However, we have already pre-selected the general contractor through their qualifications process to be Plenium on this one. They will then compile that into a proposal, basically, to us. We will supervise the entire process. They'll prepare a proposal for the construction contract, bring that back to us. Assuming it meets all of our requirements, we'll bring that back forward to the board, potentially for approval, and then begin construction this summer to be completed, as I mentioned, ahead of the 27-28 school year. So those are the slides on the loader project. We've got some more slides, or pardon me, that was Palmer. Next up is Booth, but I'd invite the board to discuss this project in any detail at this time.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Clerk Hall.
Thank you, Chief Searcy. I do have a few questions, and they're somewhat related to the existing portion of the building. So I appreciate the general reuse restroom being built in the new portion of the building, but will there be any upgrades or changes to the current restrooms? And in that question, are there also going to be any renovations to the existing classrooms so that they mirror the upgraded new classrooms? And then I'll just throw them all at you. And then my final question is, I believe we call this the spoke and hub style of building. And I know that there are a few, I've heard that there's some HVAC issues with that kind of odd shaped, maybe it's a pinwheel, I can't remember. It's one of those. You'll remember like tomorrow which one it is. But are there because you listed some other upgrades, but HVAC was not listed. So I'm curious if there's some HVAC upgrades.
Sure. So we lovingly refer to this design prototype as our pods.
Oh, this is the pods. Thank you.
Try to, again, lovingly.
Yep.
As they have the little, 4-packs kind of radiating off of the common hallway. The upper end, you can kind of see what is a restroom, existing restroom there on the northern end or the upper end of the purple area. There is one existing bay of boys and girls restrooms that we're looking to renovate into general use, as well as the new restrooms that we're building in the expanded area of that design type. It's a difficult balance. We're not gutting and renovating every single restroom in the building, but we are looking to grab that set of restrooms as well as the new ones. In terms of the existing classrooms, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not a tremendous amount of recommended improvements into those. There might be some FF&E elements, but by and large, these are rectangles. They have sinks in them. They have windows in them. I can't speak to the condition of the flooring. We might be able to make some upgrades to the FF&E. They've all recently received new Prometheans and new audio enhancement systems. So from that standpoint, the greatest bang for the buck is going to be in the scope and spaces that we've outlined there. Just to keep going on this, I believe HVAC issues that has plagued our pod schools in a variety of different locations and ways. And this school, as well as all of them to date, except for maybe Whitehead, has already undergone a multi-million-dollar upgrade of the HVAC system. So, while sometimes things break, this school has already had its HVAC system upgraded. So that's not included in the scope.
Great. So I'll just put a plug in that the existing classrooms, if possible, flooring and furniture would be so that it mirrors, so that there's some equity across the classroom. I think if that's a possibility once the budget's really dialed down in, I would just put a plug in for that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Trustee Westlake. Thank you, President Mayberry. So building off of what Clerk Hall said, you used to be able to say paint is cheap, slap a coat of paint on it, but I know paint has petroleum in it, and so paint's gone up, but still a relatively inexpensive way to brighten and refresh an area by just putting fresh paint on it. So I would say even if we can't do a lot of new furniture or even new flooring, but if we could, I know the multi-purpose room wasn't going to be included because I went to the meeting where it was being discussed, and I had asked specifically about that and was told that it was not included. But I would say if we can throw paint on the multi-purpose room, which is bright yellow and bright orange, it's so 50s. It's just, it just looks old. You would think that it's a nice, bright, happy colors, but it is almost glaringly obnoxious. So I'm just, paint, if we could at least do paint throughout the building and refresh it and give it that little bit of a facelift would be awesome, if possible.
I think that's a great point. I'm going to work with the team on that, even in select areas. Sometimes just that visual and emotional impact. We don't have to knock down walls and dramatically change construction, but aesthetics, can really change the experience of a space. So I'll follow up on that. Thank you.
Okay, there's no more questions. Let's jump into Libby booth.
Sounds great. So Libby booth, as you may recall, has its origins in our October 14th board meeting, where we proposed including the modernization of Libby booth somewhat in an accelerated fashion to coincide with the reconstruction of Echo Loader and the potential closure and repurposing of Corbett and Veterans. So following the approval of that direction, the capital projects team have set into motion a variety of actions, as I've described, the vote of the board to close those schools, the initiation of the zoning advisory committee who presented this in late November to the community, and we'll meet again this Thursday to talk more specifically about them. We've also been engaging with the community on a very individual level through the principal and through the site staff, as well as many of the neighborhood constituents, the Reno Sparks Indian Colony, the Ward 3, City of Reno, Ward 3 NAB, and many others. So it's a complex, multifaceted, and substantial change process that we are just taking the next step on here today. To highlight, this is the funding recommendation for the design phase of the modernization of Booth Elementary School. This is a graphic that we're trying to spread throughout the community that tries to tell the story simplistically of how we're looking to change the relationship between these 4 elementary schools and the communities that they serve. And all of the bullet points on the left that are really important that we honor and emphasize to our community at each and every opportunity, and that hopefully they understand well enough to feel comfortable being a part of helping us author this change. More specifically, and this is very conceptual in nature because we really are only just at the beginning stages of designing this, this is a schematic of what we anticipate including on this project. There's less of a need to increase the capacity of this school, but there are deficiencies relative to our newest schools in our space areas. So you'll see those bullet points. Of course, interior improvements, finishes, the aesthetics, and where we can cost effectively improve the emotional experience of the spaces. But also many different proposed improvements to the outdoor spaces, including shade structures, that similar soccer mini pitch, and perhaps new and of course retained existing play structures. And then last but not least, the school does not have a media center and STEAM lab as our newest schools do. So we're likely to be constructing that space new on the property. We're also doing this, or intending to do all of this in a way that minimizes the infrastructure, the new infrastructure that would be constructed now when we, in the near future, go forward and build a new elementary school on this property. Remember, the plan now is to modernize this school today ahead of the 27-28 school year, but then come along afterwards in 5 or so years and reconstruct the school new on the existing campus like we're proposing at Loader. So one of our concerns that we heard from the board back in October was, to minimize the amount of investment that we make today to only, demolish it or demolish it 5 years from now. So you can see the approximate outline of where a new school building would go, and the suggestion that a new STEAM lab or any new construction would be master planned to be built now to be incorporated into the construction of the new building. So again, this is conceptual in nature. We've got a lot of work to do to bring these details to life. And these are, just a snapshot of the scope of partners that we'll need to hire within this budget to make this complete, not only the architecture and engineering, but of course all of those other professionals that it takes to put these types of projects together. That scope will also include some community engagement. We have committed to and found value in working with some of those same groups that I mentioned earlier to give them the not only information about what is being planned and intended to happen in their community, but to ask for input as to how what sort of changes and improvements they would like to see in their Libby booth while we're rezoning and determining who exactly will attend this school beginning in 27-28. So here's the estimated schedule. Again, these improvements are anticipated to be complete ahead of the start of the 27-28 school year to coincide with the opening of the new reconstructed loader and the rezoning throughout this community. Pending approval of this recommended budget, we will bring back to the board contracts against this budget, likely towards many of these types of consultants, and then move very swiftly in order to complete this ahead of the 27-28 school year. It won't be too long that we execute that community engagement, finalize this design work, and then bring back future actions for construction phase funding approvals, and then ultimately a construction contract, likely, this calendar year likely this fall, 2026. So, okay, that's the end of the content on this one. Happy to discuss any questions about booth before getting into the actual action item itself. Thank you.
Any questions, comments, colleagues?
I just have one. It's on your live construction, the challenges that you had, that you were talking about, and, just kind of put on my force protection hat, looking at how we're doing that, and how does that look like, and what are we doing to mitigate some of those things? That kind of was my concern. I heard you had mentioned that, sir. And how is the community taking that? How's it going with that? Just so I kind of have a good understanding of what we're doing, how we're mitigating some of those things, because I know those are the challenges that the community has, we have, and just looking at safety overall. I just kind of wanted to hear a little bit of that, sir.
Sure, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. This is one of the areas that we do pretty well. We know how to work on evenings and weekends and school calendar breaks to execute some of the more sensitive in the classroom types of renovations and schedule and price that work accordingly. We're also getting better with these types of modernization projects working on an active campus. Somewhat gone are the days of having just this greenfield site out in the middle of nowhere where we're building a school unimpeded. Our construction professional partners are very safety conscious and are setting up very rigid barriers between the construction zone and the school community. But where we are growing is how we work together as cohabitants of that campus, and how we bring that construction experience into the classroom. I always tell people, and sorry, this is my soapbox, we do a construction project, we ask the community to endure 18 months of inconvenience for a long-term payoff if you can just hang in there. And we think about making the same bargain with our students at this school, except for the fact that the kids who don't get to use their playground for a school year or two aren't in the school to enjoy their upgraded school once the project's completed. So that feels like they're getting the short end of the stick. So what can we do to help make this impaired environment, the impacted playground area, and whatever's going on your campus, an exciting and different and learning opportunity while the project's going on? Every project's different. Elementary schools respond to that differently. Elementary age students respond to that differently than middle, than high. Furthermore, most folks respond really positively when you ask them to share about what they do. So we include in the scope of our contracts now with our architects and engineers, with our contractors, STEM engagement, that whether they bring a plumber or a mason or an architect into the classroom and share a little bit about what's going on just on the other side of that safety fence, or whether we bring those kiddos out onto the construction site, super safely, of course, with hard hats and make the whole little field trip, but they're right there on the campus. You know, it's not like we got to get on a school bus and drive halfway across town. It has proven now on project after project to be this really positive experience that everyone has embraced. So every project's different. Site logistics are different. We have to honor and respect the work that the classroom and the teachers have to do. It's not like they have a lot of extra time to entertain our little construction field trips. And our contractors have pretty busy, important work that they need to get done. But we absolutely can find and specify contractually that we make the time to make this an educational experience rather than just this construction inconvenience. So of course safety is first and foremost, but you know, I'm really, as you can tell, excited to talk about how we are committed to making these construction projects a part of the educational experience on our campuses.
And just to follow up on that, as well as going on with the community, you mentioned the kiddos and the families. How is just the community on the outside handling that, and what you're just kind of related to what you're saying there?
You know, it's always difficult to get the kind of engagement that you aspire to sometimes. So community meetings, connect eds, individual meetings with leaders of subpopulations or different groups, you know, we're working as many different channels as we can to get some degree of awareness and then, of course, engagement. With this project in particular, I feel like we have a unique opportunity to create some semi-custom scope that isn't necessarily as standard as we sometimes do. And hopefully we'll get the input that aligns with the scope we're trying to achieve, that allows us to integrate some unique fingerprints from our community into what we're doing that will really help them embrace the modernized loader when it opens.
Yeah, and just to close it out, sorry about that, colleagues. Thank you for that. Put it on the record of what we are doing here at the district, what the contractors are doing for these projects, not only for the families and the students, but for the community surrounding, and that we're trying to do the best that we can. And we're making a good impact and using that opportunity for a teachable moment. I like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Phoenix. Clerk Hall.
That just brought up a question for me about the playground. So with the changes on this playground, I know that they're still designed to be had, but will this be sort of a phased approach, or is the entire playground going to be like off limits during this time, or will there be like this section's closed, then we open it? Is that part of the kind of phased approach, or are we just not going to have playground available for them?
So, you know, to be more precise, there's hundreds of kids on these campuses. Lord knows they got to go outside and run around and scream and kick balls. So there will be a playground experience at Loader, as well as here. The design isn't complete. It hasn't even really started.
Right.
In my opinion, this lends itself to a little bit more phased and isolated and surgical implementation. But we're definitely accommodating the students with outdoor play activities in any scenario, and this will be no different.
Okay, great. And I'll throw that you can also do civic learning when it comes to this, because there's a lot of policy and elected officials involved and a lot of building permits and all of that. So civics is also, so make sure you're crossing off those civics and social studies standards, because we don't get to those a lot in elementary schools. So let's do that. And I just wanted to applaud you on the community engagement piece and really being very intentional. I feel like we have grown so much through this process of being intentional with our community engagement, and I just wanted to applaud you for that. And then finally, for being very fiscally and responsible with these updates, in that we're not going to, renovate the entire school and spend a bunch of money when we're just going to build a new school in a few years. And that was something that we felt very strongly about, but we still want to give the kids at this school an enhanced opportunity. So I really appreciate the thoughtfulness that's going into this, and I know that whoever you work with going forward will continue to do that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Clerk Hall. I see our student representative, Ms. Hartley, has her light on.
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize how important these constructions and modernizations of our new school is to the students. Like from a personal experience at Damani Ranch, we had a west wing built onto our school a while ago, and it's slightly more modern and more new than the rest of our school. And I've seen that students treat it differently than they do the rest of the school. They treat it with more respect. It's always way less dirty than the rest of the school. And students aren't messing around and causing trouble as much in these new schools. So I just wanted to emphasize the importance of all of this.
Great feedback. Thank you. Trustee Smith.
Thank you, President Mayberry. Again, just such an impressive presentation on the graphic that I think is a couple slides up, the investing in student success. I fell in love with this. I think it's a couple slides. It's the next slide up from that. Yeah, I think that this is just absolutely wonderful. I would also like to acknowledge and thank my colleague, Trustee Phoenix, for helping to bring attention to the upcoming community meetings. I saw that. Thank you for doing that. And then just as a suggestion, also based on feedback from the Ward 3 NAB, is to hopefully bring this graphic on sheets to the zoning presentation, but also to translate it into Spanish, which I think would be respectful and attuned to the needs of the community in that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. JJ, do we have any public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Vice President Woodley, thank you. I apologize.
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, so I just want to state I can't help but looking at these presentations, we've had 3 of them today, and I'm just reminded of how blessed we are on this board obviously because of WC1. I mean, that's why we're here. We're able to do all these things. I'm very grateful to our community because I know that we have our colleagues throughout the state that are dealing with whether they're closing schools and don't know what to do with them, or they're looking at their needs of even HVAC, as we stated earlier, talking about HVAC. And here we are doing so much, and we're making so many improvements. And one of the things I want to point out that I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Searcy, and to Ms. Zimmerman, because we have a responsibility and a duty to those individuals, to our constituents, and those that voted yes for WC1. And it feels good to see how professional and how dedicated you guys are and all the things that you think about with all the changes that are being made. I mean, even to the point, like you said, putting helmets on the kids and having them walk across, all these intricacies, all these little details, our partners, planning builders, and yes, including their competitors too, to be able to be conscientious of how they do business on this active site. Because we all know typically when you have construction going on, especially when you're talking about this big amount of construction, it's empty locations. All you're worrying about is erosion, BMPs, and that's all you're worried about. We're worried here about little kids, and we're dealing with existing neighborhoods that we're disrupting their traffic, their flow, etc. So to do all this and to do it so thoughtfully, with the attention to details that you guys do, and then bring us these presentations over and over and over again, the beginning, the preliminary, the after, keeping us abreast of everything that's going on. I appreciate it. I know we all do as a board. We're very grateful to know that we have professionals like you and Ms. Zimmerman and your staff and our partners in the community that are doing this job the way you're doing it. So I just want to express our gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Any other comments from my colleagues? If not, we'll go to public comment.
Pablo Nava Duran.
Okay, thank you. Sir.
All right, here we go. So my name is Pablo Duran. As a NAB Ward 3 members, this is a community I represent. I don't represent the New World area, but I do represent this area. So I want to talk about the communications going on during FIP. So most of the FIP schools were triggered by many marginalized or minorities or low-income neighborhoods. That many parent community members had to work 2 or 3 jobs to support their families. They didn't have no time to spend at the meeting. and also they have a limited English language ability. So I want to say thank you, Adam Sisley, for for making an agenda on the zoning files community in Spanish. That is exactly what Antonio Aguero said. Said from president of Smith Street BTO. Yep. So I want to make sure get the community out English and Spanish, but what we're missing is the communication. So the communication is getting better. I really appreciate it. So the only one missing is the radio, because most Spanish-speaking people are like to listen on radio, especially on commercials. So we could spend a little more money on commercials, on things. So hopefully I will attend Thursday night to support those guys, whoever make decisions. As a Ward 3 members, this is a new school, new area for the central Reno area. So thank you.
All right, thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion. Trustee Phoenix.
I move that the Board of Trustees approves the 2025-26B Major Projects Program for the projects throughout the district in a total amount of $21,900,000 as recommended by the Capital Funding Protection Committee.
Second.
Okay, I have a second from Vice President Woodley. I'm sorry about that. Okay, how about, again, a motion from Trustee Phoenix to approve item 4.03, a second from Trustee Woodley. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, those opposed? Okay. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Searcy, thank you for your time this afternoon. Thank you. Well done. Now we move on to item 5, our reports. 5.01 is our student representative report. Maya Hartley.
Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations, President Mayberry, and thank you, Trustee Smith, for all you've done for our school district. So our Student Advisory Council has recently been working on different group projects that we've seen passion in from our other students. And one of these big ones is one that's been brought up before, is the period of time when our dual credit classes have ended, but school is still continuing on. And this awkward period of time causes some of our students to skip their class and eventually skip their other classes because they don't think it will affect their grades, and this really contributes to our chronic absenteeism. One way to combat this that we've seen has worked is, and that many students are passionate about, is incorporating college and career readiness into these classes. So helping students to craft their resumes, cover letters, and apply for scholarships, or helping them to get in contact with different internships or different career paths that they may choose after high school. And so we are currently making plans to contact the career centers at our different high schools and eventually the dual credit teachers to see if we can incorporate this, hopefully this year, but definitely next year, just to help students stay engaged and help prepare them for the years to come after high school. And that's about it.
Thank you, Student Representative Hartley. Really appreciate hearing from you. Now we'll go to item 5.02. These are our board reports, and let's go around. We'll start with Trustee Westlake.
Thank you, President Mayberry. Well, it's a busy season in our house with Christmas and New Year's and 9 grandkids, but I was able to go to the Newton Academy and visit there with the administrators, teachers, and most especially some of the students, and I really appreciated that visit. It really opened my eyes to other possibilities and needs of some of our students that have special needs, and I look forward, hopefully in the future, to hearing more about what they have to offer
the students in our district and hopefully how we can partner with them in meeting the needs of some of our children that we support in the district. And other than that, I'm looking forward to starting up school visits again and getting back in the swing. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Westlake. Trustee Phoenix.
All righty, short and sweet here. Again, like all of us, there wasn't a lot going on here in December, but looking forward to the new year. I did go to the WCSD Academy, the Principals Academy they had up there. Great job on your presentation when we talked about where we are, where we're going, and taking that analogy, moving it forward. Enjoyed the breakout sessions that they had there, so if you haven't gone, it's kind of cool to interact with some of the other staff there and listen to their input. I went to their community engagement, and they were just talking about some of the challenges they have. As you heard earlier, not a lot of people like to show up, so how do we do that? And so they had some great ideas, and each school has their own challenges and their own ways of doing that. So it was good to see. And then again, like Colleen had mentioned here, plan on getting to those schools. This year I'm going to head to all the specialty schools that we have this year. I spent a lot of time at district just trying to understand who's who that first school half of the school year, and then the other was just meeting with the principals, getting to know them. So I'll be going to the evening meetings and trying to understand a little bit more what's happening in the community. So other than that, that's all I really have. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Clerk Hall.
Thank you. All right, I did remember to send JJ all my stuff. So last week, Trustee Smith and I, as well as Chief Owen over HR, he was not present for the picture. We didn't get, and then we realized as we were walking out, we didn't get a picture with him. But we got to sit in the old assembly chambers at the Capitol building and attend the first commission on recruitment and retention. And it's an expanded commission to really focus on educator recruitment and retention, meaning all people in our buildings, like everybody involved in schools. So really looking at the big picture of that. So I'm very excited to be a part of that, and I am the NASB representative. So I'm trying to really look at the big picture for all 17 of our districts. So that is a really important thing. And then on that that's last week, we celebrated 1 year of having been on this board, and I could not choose. It was really hard to choose, but a couple of my just favorite memories, and obviously you can see a lot of them are student related. So I really appreciate my colleagues and all of the principals and students for an incredible year of school visits and opportunities to learn about our schools and just find ways to support and advocate for our schools, not just in District 8, but all of our schools. So. And then just a happy new year. That's our kiddos. I just want to shout out my daughter for making Dean's List in her first year of college. My son got all A's and 1 B at AACT first semester, and my 6th grader turned 12 on New Year's Eve. And that's Milo and Tucker. We adopted Tucker after Milo came home from his adventure in the mountains last year. Some of you may know about his adventure. And I just felt it really a perfect opportunity with the new year to share my favorite quote, presidential quote. We become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams. And that's what makes us beautiful. And that's why I love serving Washoe County.
Thank you very much, Clerk Hall. Appreciate that. Trustee Vice President Woodley.
Yes, I wish everyone had a great Christmas and a New Year, and I only have one thing that I want to share, and that's this video of a game I went to watch at McQueen High School with Trustee Nicolette, and we got to see a special student. His name is Parker. We all know him as Jen Caldwell's son, and this is him taking a shot in the game. Yeah. He is a very, very good basketball player, and we had fun watching him play and all the other kids. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. I'll give a quick report. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and Happy New Year and It's good to be back. Appreciate the confidence. Bear with me here as I navigate this new role, and look forward to working with Clerk Hall and Vice President Woodley. And again, want to salute former President Smith for her dedicated service to this district for the last 3 years. After our last meeting in December, I did get to visit Worcester High School to hear from our student leaders who are shared their views on social emotional learning. Trustee Nicolette attended that with me. I also attended the IB graduation a few days before Christmas at Worcester High. Had a chance to visit DePauli Middle School and had a great visit with Principal Carlson. And also had a chance to visit the Sierra Nevada Academy down in the SNAC community. I'm not sure if I'm saying that acronym correctly. Sierra Nevada Academy. SNACs, to see firsthand what Principal Kristen Reagan shared with us a few months ago on the restart of their charter, and encourage any of my colleagues to have a chance to visit SNACs here in the weeks to come. It was a very enlightening visit. That concludes my report. I'll pass over to Trustee Nicolette.
Thank you. I too attended the IB graduation and had an opportunity to speak with the students, and they are truly remarkable. We took a year off last year and did not have the graduation, and kind of reorganized, and it's good to be back on track. Recently, I'm working on a state level and a national level with the Nevada Association of School Boards, and then also the National School Board Association. And we're really gearing up for the legislative session that is supposed to take place on the Hill, February 3rd. I will be in D.C. with 3 of my NASB, Nevada Association of School Board colleagues, and I can tell you now, I hope it's not premature, but three of our kind of asks and opportunities to educate our legislators in D.C. We are previously setting up meetings, and that has been very successful. We're going to have great opportunities. We're really going to look at IDEA, Individualized Education Act, which initially was supposed to be, back in the 80s when it was passed, 40% funded. We have not even come close to that as a nation, and so that's on our agenda. Also fully funding Title I, which we see some breakaways, if you will, and then career and technical education pathways and some support for those increased pathways. Washoe County School District, we're doing a wonderful job. And if we could secure some additional funding with the help of our national legislators, there's no telling what we could do and how successful we could be or continue that success. I've started setting up my visits, visited Elmcrest Elementary School this week. I just get a kick out of that community, and I had a lovely conversation with the nutrition services supervisor there, and she gave me some wonderful insight that I am sharing, because they're to use the term, boots on the ground, and they know what's working and not working. And our new company, which proud to secure, needs to hear some of this input. And then I'm also working as the Early Childhood Advisory Council representative for the Early Childhood Research Symposium, which will happen April 23rd in Reno. And what I'm trying to do now is related to the National Association of School Boards in Nevada, collecting data on universal pre-K and the programs that currently exist in our school districts. Thank you.
And last but not least, former President Smith.
Thank you so much, President Mayberry, and congratulations to you and Vice President Woodley and Clerk Hall. Thank you so much for all the kind words. I'm very, very excited for you guys to lead in this next era. Also, to let you know, I am visiting SNACs next week, so I'll have more to share on that in the next board report. So before I get to this picture, and I think the other one, the Mount Rose one is the first one, but before I get to that, I want to recognize the finance team led by CFO Mark Mathers. The Washoe County School District again secured extremely strong credit ratings with Moody's. They're an AA2, and with Standard & Poor's, it's AA. That's absolutely incredible. Like, very good work, particularly nowadays. So congratulations to them. I also want to congratulate all of the WCSD educators who received their national certification. That is a very rigorous 4-component process that takes years for some educators to achieve. So that is no small feat. So congratulations to all of them. And to those that did not secure that certification, I certainly hope you keep going, because I know that it can take several years. Something that COO Searcy talked about was about our contractors and our subcontractors being involved with our schools. I joined the Vaughan Middle School Career Fair. I have an entire packet of all of our subcontractors, our contractor partners, different companies that were there at their career fair that filled the entire gym, and that was incredible to see. I also participated in a meeting for the Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Governing Board. The picture that you see here was I sponsored the Mount Rose K-8 Student of the Month luncheon before the end of the semester, and so they did that in multiple waves, and so these were some of our young Student of the Month winners. Very excited to see, and they're actually doing very well with their attendance as well too, using lots of different ways to encourage attendance. The next picture, I mentioned it earlier, COO Adam Searcy and I presented to the Ward 3 NAB. That is a picture of us presenting together to the NAB. COO Searcy did the majority of the presentation, and then we both answered questions, hard questions and good questions. It was fantastic community engagement, and we are incredibly grateful to Vice Mayor Miguel Martinez for the invitation. The next picture, Clerk Hull already covered most of it, so I'll just say that I'm extremely excited to serve alongside her, and then also Chief Owen, and the chair of the commission, Dean Easton-Brooks from the UNR College of Education. And last but not least, there's no picture with this, but I was able to visit the CARES campus. I've seen a lot about the CARES campus over the years. I had never been there. So, like we like to do as trustees, maybe you should go. So I reached out, I had a fantastic tour, and I was incredibly impressed with the work that I saw there, including the work that they're doing with the Literacy Council to connect these adults with education. And I learned something really fun that I'll mention is that there's this thing called the Med Pod, and at the senior center, any family, including children, can actually go to the senior center and use one of these Med Pods, which is absolutely free and does not require insurance.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Jeez, you guys are busy. We'll move to item 5.03, the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Mayberry. I just wanted to highlight a couple of the efforts. On January 5th, we have our district-wide professional learning, and wanted to give kudos to our human resource team that helps develop a lot of that professional learning along with our academics team. Led by Deputy McMaster, our academics team was out in buildings on that first day when we came back for the new year, and really proud to report that the professional learning that's being provided in WCSD is really high quality and getting better and better. And so we really take advantage of those days in a real productive way. In working with the 17 superintendents throughout Nevada, NAS, we are working to develop our Invest document. Last little while back, we shared that with everybody, looking to update that in preparation for the session ahead, and certainly would bring that forward to our board to make sure that everybody gets an understanding of that. We want to also congratulate our new secondary director of curriculum, academics, and instruction, working alongside Kendra Fox. We have the former principal of Sparks High School, Nicole Johnson, who's moving into that position, and real excited about the work that she'll bring and the continuation of some really important work that is done in that department. Also, over the holidays, our academic team looks at all of our mid-year data took a pretty deep dive and really working to use that in very productive ways with each school. Our area superintendents then go and visit with our principals, and we really look to see how we can use that to inform the second semester. So really making a strong academic push in this second semester to build on the growth and the historic progress that was made last year. And I'll conclude with I was happy to get out to Washoe Inspire. I know many of you are all familiar with it, but a campus that serves students that are in alternate educational placements. And the work that has been done there over the past few years has really strengthened the services that we're providing for those students, particularly around when we're transitioning students back to comprehensive high schools and making sure that we are having a real tight connection through that transition and then even after that transition. So just excited about the academic work that's being done in Washoe County School District and ready to have a great second semester ahead.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Ernst. We'll go to item 6. These are our closing items for public comment. JJ, do we have any public comment?
Veronica Cardis.
Thank you.
Veronica Cortez.
I love meetings. I just came from the county commissioner meeting, but I had to leave early because they took a break, and so I came over here. Anyway, thank you so much. My name is Veronica Cortez. I met you the other night at the RTC meeting out in Spanish Springs.
Remember that. Welcome. How are you?
I am very well, thank
Good.
you. And I've met Nicolette at the cafeteria in Lemon Valley. So I am the lunch lady at Lemon Valley. Been a proud lunch lady since, it says here, September 27th, 1999, apparently. So this is my job history with you guys. Always been in nutrition services. I did go to Virginia Palmer. I was actually the second graduating class out of there, kinder to 6th. Then I was the first graduating class out of Billinghurst. So I got 2 new schools. Then they zoned us for Reed. So I did 3 years over there. But living in Sun Valley, getting to Reed was really hard, especially in those days, the 90s, traffic. Not traffic, but there's just no way. The bus system didn't go, and if you missed your school bus, mom ain't taking you to Sparks. So, you know, they had these like GED prep classes that were offered at the center in Sun Valley. So, you know, a group of us from high school that couldn't make it to school every day, we took our GED prep classes. And we ended up going to Washoe High, getting our GEDs. So we did Washoe education. I was born in St. Mary's. Grandparents came in the 50s from Texas. So we're ranchers. We have a brand through the Department of Agriculture. I was a lunch lady at Veterans for 12 years, started the Girls on the Run program over there. I was a dance teacher. Right now, like I said, I'm the lunch lady at Lemon Valley Elementary. I'm a mobile notary, if you've ever seen these, on the Citizens Advisory Board out in Sun Valley. I own the Buy Right Pizza, so we're out there, you know, giving the community. That's why you know me. You went to the Citizens Advisory Board, so thank you so much. Yeah, we are trying to get closer, you know, to you guys because of the school district. Our children, they're in such danger out there. We are having people losing their lives at least once a month. We have dark streets. Like I said, I go to these RTC meetings, and I have these people fill out surveys about how do you feel about walking in Sun Valley? How do you feel about this? You know, so Sun Valley really needs a lot of help. We've requested a superintendent or somebody from the board to go talk to us to clarify some stuff, but we keep getting the runaround between RTC and SVGID and the county, and so we really are just asking for help. As a concerned citizen, as a mother of a 4th grader that goes to Esther Bennett, as a lunch lady since 1999, you know, if you guys could maybe come to one of our meetings, that's all we're asking for. Answer some of our public questions because we have a lot of problems with parent pickup. There's no lines in the parking lot. The kids are crossing wherever. They have this new idea to put a crosswalk a mile away where Sky Ranch crosses Highland Ranch, and it's just a hot mess. So if we could really have your support on working to get things better out in Sun Valley. We're growing. We're District 5. We have elections coming up, and I hope the new commissioner is going to support everything we do out there. Mariluz Garcia is very, very close with us. I love her to death. Jeannie does what she can for Sun Valley, but she's ready to term out. And I'm running for County Commissioner, District 5. So from lunch lady to hopefully County Commissioner, everybody knows I go to meetings. So
okay, thank you, Ms. Cortez. And I do see the superintendent taking notes, so thank you. All right. Any other public comment?
That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate your help today. Item 6.02, our next meeting announcement. Friends, our next meeting will be on January 27th. We do have a 10 a.m. work session, so that'll be a full day. It'll likely be the final discussion on the budget. Again, 10 a.m., and then we will have our regular meeting at 2 p.m. on January 27th, 2 weeks from today. We'll move on to item 6.03, and we'll adjourn the meeting. Again, have a wonderful evening, and thank you for being here.